Hi, and welcome to the Call to Cinema. My name is Aaron, and I'm not quite sure how many people are going to get in here at this time of night. It's actually fairly late over here right now. But either way, I had planned to do this as a pre-tape video, but I figured it'd be kind of nice to do this one as a live. So if you're here and say hi, and thank you so much for joining me. Like, share, subscribe, and let's hit the music. You see, recently I spoke with my dad, who's just starting to get into the whole 4K game. And it got me to thinking back of how it started for me. And rather than just make a dry run on, okay, I like 4K or this is what you need or type thing, I wanted to kind of mix it up with my 4K collection. And kind of explain to you why I got some of the stuff that I got and some stuff that I like, some stuff that I might regret getting, and why it turned it out to be way more important than we initially thought it was going to be. See, for us, what had happened was I had been my system had died, and I wanted to get a new system. And much like with Blu-ray, when you saw so many people getting into that because there's like PS3s around, I bought an Xbox One S at the time, and it was the first system along with the X that could actually play 4K UHDs. First video game system. Like many gamers that are also movie fans that cross over, it was like, okay, I don't have a 4K TV yet, but the second that I get one, I'm ready to go. It got to the point actually. Hey there, Dave. Welcome, man. Where my better half, and this is where she was smart. Hey, Maddie, welcome. Um, so she had said, "How about this? How about we look at movies that we want to see in the theater and decide if we really, really want to see them in the theater, or if you want to go like one step farther and really out and out own those movies and have that experience at home." So this was before, what happened about like a year before. Better have some smart lady. It's kind of scary how well she can think ahead when it comes to this type of stuff. So what we started to do was we were still going to the movie theater, but we would look at movies that we really wanted and that we knew were going to be coming out that had solid, um, that was solid, and we just say, okay, we're going to bypass for now. We're going to not look at anything online, no reviews, no nothing. Go stay blind, and we're going to start buying movies that we want, and it's going to be a movie night. And it's a lot cheaper to buy 4K of regular film. You go to your local Walmart, to exactly what I'm talking about, and than it is to actually go out there and go to the theater, pay for your tickets, pay for your popcorn, pay for your gas, all that type of stuff. Then stuff happened in the world, and nobody was going anywhere, and it seemed like the greatest decision of all time. So what I thought I'd do tonight is we chat back and forth on this, and as I do that, I'm going to show you some of my 4K collection here. I got a bunch of it. I'm going to tell you some of my favorite releases as we go through, and some of my not so favorite releases. Some things that I'm super glad I got, ones that I wish he did a bit more on, and we'll talk about some stuff here. Because if this is your first time with 4K or your 500th and first time with 4K, it's always fun. Cheers. It's a hot night here, and just to let you know how dedicated I am to try and get as many videos out as possible. But it has to be something that I'm really interested in. Then this is 3 at 10 a.m. in the morning right now. If you haven't seen my Sony review, please check it out. A small channel like me doesn't always get the chance to actually to review for a company like Sony. So it's an 8-minute video. If you check it out, if you can check it out, watch it. I would really, really appreciate it. It helps the channel a lot. So see, initially, one of the things that happened is that trying to plan movies for National Cinema Day. And that's cool, man. Hey, Swift, welcome. We're driving into 4K. right now. My dad actually just recently got a 4K player. He's upgraded. I'm proud of him. And so we're going into 4K. So this is both a way to look back, a way to look forward, and hopefully a fun video. Hopefully my dad will see this as well. Right after AEW Dynamite went off. I know, actually. They changed a couple of matches up because, visa issues. All right. So here's the big thing that sold my better half on 4K. See, because my better half is a movie fan too. People tend to think I'm like, it's just me, but it's not. See, one thing that we have in common are two directors that we really, really like. And I kind of see one, and this is going to be controversial a bit. Hey, the Trash Welcome Man, as kind of a modern day version of the other. So we are huge Stanley Kubrick fans, like massive fans of Stanley Kubrick. But we're also massive fans of Christopher Nolan. And for us, Nolan is kind of like, in the way that he does it, in the auteur way that he does things, he's the Kubrick of his era. And right on the same day that we bought the Xbox, a bunch of Christopher Nolan movies got announced to be coming on 4K. And for us, that was a big deal. So one of the very early things that we ordered, we didn't order, actually went to Best Buy and got this. Rest in peace, Terry Funk. Man, the guy must have had the most retirement matches of any wrestler right there, and just an amazing man. Midas with the golden touch. He really is. It was this right here. Now, I'm not going to lie to you. I've had some issues with some of these films, particularly with Christian Bale, but not with Nolan's directing or writing. Like, that has been spot on for these films. And even like Dark Knight Rises, and I know a lot of people don't. But when they announced that this was coming out, because we have this on DVD, we got a Blu-ray collector's edition with with the car in it. But to have the Dark Knight films on 4K, see, there's another reason that we like to get Nolan in 4K. And that's because Nolan is like us in one very big way, except more talented. He's really into film. And I mean, like, literally film. He shoots all his movies on film. He doesn't use digital. Same as Quentin Tarantino. And when you're looking at getting a 4K release, the biggest thing when it comes to like upgrade and is like something that can be remastered on film. And Nolan's are on film. Also, Nolan is somebody that likes to play with sound. If you watch his most recent film, Oppenheimer, then you'll know how he kind of plays with sound, the lowering of it, the use of sound, use of bass, use of like kind of lowering the sound and making it sometimes so it's hard to hear over the track, over the music. It's kind of a Nolan thing. So we went out. We were initially going to grab these on their own. Went to Best Buy, and they were there. The Batman Begins, which is one I actually really do love. The Dark Knight, Mr. Ledger himself, and The Dark Knight Rises, which we saw in theater together. And of course, there's the IMAX sequences in there. That's really, really a lot of fun. But it wasn't like the only Nolan that we ended up getting at the time. We also ended up picking up Inception, which is is my favorite like Christopher Nolan film. And my second favorite Christopher Nolan film. Can you guess what it is? What my second favorite Nolan film is? Let me know what yours is if you're there and you're typing. Nobody's going to guess. Okay. See, if Malcolm was here and it wasn't like 3 o'clock in the morning, where he's probably sleeping right now, he would totally guess. But it's Dunkirk. I love this movie. This movie gets a lot of hate. And I really don't get it. I just absolutely adore everything about this film. I think it's a masterpiece. I think it is a literal, fantastically wonderful masterpiece. And it runs out. Like, it's not a short movie. But it doesn't seem long. Like, I've watched this so many times. The Inception of 4K is really good, actually. That's the thing. I mean, like, the Blu-ray is good. Like, the Blu-ray is really good too. But I do think it's worth it for the upgrade. Next up is Interstellar, of course, because it's a really fun movie. I love this film, but we were big superhero fans. Oh, the editing is that's the thing, man. The editing is fantastic, and like I mention like Don't Look Now all the time, like as like a masterclass of editing. It's a Nicholas Roeg film. I'm sure everyone here has seen that movie, and if you're if you're watching this like pre-taped like later on, it's a fantastic movie. It's on Criterion. Check it out. It's amazing editing. Dunkirk is so much like that in the fact that the editing is absolutely a masterclass in the way that it's done. It just blew my mind as a film fan, as a cinephile. People are going to be surprised about these next four because I don't always talk the best about some of these films, but that doesn't mean I don't like them. I don't want them in my collection because I really, really do. And this is the DCEU collection. Now they came out with one with 5 in it, like afterwards, but this is the initial release that came out. Again, we bought this at Best Buy. It has the original Suicide Squad, Man of Steel, Batman v Superman, and Wonder Woman. I'd say probably Wonder Woman is the one that I watched the most, and Man of Steel. Like I will say, deeply flawed films, but at the end of the day, I'm not going to lie, I watched the hell out of these two. I will 100% get the Hitcher 4K. Possession, I'm not quite sure. I got Possession on Blu-ray. I do want it in 4K because it is such an amazing film. And it's Second Sight. It depends on like when it comes out, Ken, and where I'm at. So because I'll be traveling to Canada for a couple months, right? And because of that, I may or may not like be able to, if it's around that time period, then I can always order it from the UK and probably pick it up on the way back. Because I've I've thought about like, okay, I'm doing that. So when I come back from Canada, by the way, I'll be making videos in Canada too. But also when I come back from Canada, we're gonna hopefully get a massive unboxing and stuff. We're gonna go over everything. But I'm so excited with the Hitcher. Is it still coming? Is it coming the next year, right? Or still coming this year? Are we still hoping for the Hitcher this year? And with all of that being said, I ended up picking up a bunch of the DC films. I ended up grabbing. If I make it a 7-9 chair, man, you will know right away. Justice League. This is the Joss Whedon one. Is this as good as the other one? No, it's not. Not even remotely as good as the other one. But it's 2 hours shorter. February at the earliest. It would be such a good October release, Ken. Such a good October release. But understandable. Like, do it right rather than do it twice, right? That's the thing. These 4 are ones that I was super excited to get because I went from upgrading this from DVD. I don't think so. Especially if you look at like the trailer for films that he does now. I don't see it like here's people because I did a video talking about like like I wasn't a big fan at the time of the DCEU stuff, and people took that. Some people took it as me not liking Zack Snyder, and which it couldn't be anything farther from the truth. I actually really do like a lot of his films. And even the ones that I didn't think were the best representations of that, I have everyone in my collection in the best possible way, except for Zack Snyder's Justice League, which I will be buying. But these are the ones from my childhood, well, from my 20s. So this one came out in '89, year I graduated from high school. I actually went to this movie with a cast on crutches. I'm not even joking now. So Batman 1989, I love this movie. I would have liked to have seen some new features on here, but does port over all the features from those special edition releases. And I really don't think there's much more you can put in there. If you know these releases, you know exactly what I'm talking about. The Chronicles and all that they put on here, the Dark Knight Cycle, the whole thing is amazing. a game film tie-in. Rebel Moon looks. I'm very interested in Rebel Moon actually, and I'm actually glad that, like, in a selfish way, that Zack Snyder isn't doing any more DC stuff. Not big, not because okay, I'm not big in the DC stuff, but because I think that Snyder, much in the way that I think, and this is going to be controversial, uh, the that guys like I'm going to get the name. It's going to kill me here. Uh, Rob Zombie. Okay, do their best work when it's their original work because they've got nothing hampering them. They can have their own creative vision. When that vision has to be put into like a certain structure, I don't think that it works as well. That's just me. Um, but I'm much more excited to know that he's doing Rebel Moon than I would be if somebody said tomorrow he's going to come back and do a new Superman movie. I'd much prefer Rebel Moon. If James Gunn ended up, I think they made the right decision. Dawn of the Dead is well directed. James Gunn wrote Dawn of the Dead. As Sean, obviously, you know that, or you could mention that. I was amazingly satisfied. You have to remember, Swift. I was like 17 years old, and we hadn't seen a movie like this. Like, there was nothing comparable. Like, again, the closest thing was the 78 Superman, and that was in 1978. And we hadn't had a Batman aside from the Batman, the 60s Batman, which we ran on TV. So the idea of doing like a serious Batman really surprised us. And the fact that it was Michael Keaton, who some people were very like the same. Remember Ben Affleck was announced as Batman? Everybody's like, oh no, Ben Affleck can't be Batman. He's in those Kevin Smith movies. And now people are like, oh, why isn't Ben Affleck doing a Batman movie, right? That's the way it goes. But yeah, like people like ragged on Michael Keaton to the point that when they were at the awards and after the movie did really well, him and Jack Nicholson went up to like present an award. And Jack Nicholson said, it's okay, man. Revlin, let them know they were wrong. Yeah, exactly. But the thing was, he'd also done Clean and Sober, Gleaming. And Clean and Sober was this harrowingly brutal film about this like drug addict played by Michael Keaton. He literally wakes up next to a dead body and realizes, crap, I'm going to put myself in rehab, but not for the right reasons, for the selfish reasons to get away from it. Now, the ties of merch comes into it a bit more, a lot later. Batman Returns was a much more adult, like Batman film, even than this one was right here. But here's the thing: the studios didn't like that. They didn't want the adult. They had to get too adult, to get too racy, to get like too like cutting edge. And Batman and Returns is super like dark and cutting edge. It's probably the most Burton-esque of the films. So they wanted him to Johnny Dange. I love that movie. I saw it in theater, man. They wanted him to do like. You want this about Joel Schumacher, but Joel Schumacher was known for doing like dark, edgy stuff. But Schumacher could also play with the theater. Play with the theater. I read your comment with Gleaming. He could play with the whole idea and the concept of like doing what the studio wanted. So we listened a bit too much to the studio, not so much in this. Like Val Kilmer, Batman Forever is actually really good. Tommy Lee Jones is the weak spot in that film. People say, well, isn't like Jim Carrey over the top? No, for Jim Carrey, he's actually pretty subdued. But Tommy Lee Jones is trying to do a Jim Carrey impression, and it always comes across not as like Two-Face, but as an actor doing a Jim Carrey impression next to Jim Carrey. Toy-Biz. I love Toy-Biz stuff, man. And Batman and Robin, which ironically is the best looking on 4K. I'm not even joking, guys. But if you think about it and like just think about the visuals that we're using this, look back. So here's the thing. Not a good movie. Fun movie. Fun as hell. Visually stunning. Joel Schumacher, the same guy that brought us Flatliners, by the way, in 8mm. So when people say, well, Joel Schumacher can be freaking dark. 8mm is super dark. Batman and Robin. It's a beautiful looking film. And if I only complaint I had, and it's a minor complaint, was that the movies didn't have any like new features on them. But with that being said, I really don't think a new feature would be a serious possibility. because there just so much was put into it. And what some people consider much he was the late G. Swanson, actually Swift, played Bane in that film. He was a wrestler, and he worked in WCW. But Uma Thurman's like doing like channeling Mae West as Poison Ivy is utterly fantastic. And I do like Alicia Silverstone, so I'm not gonna complain about her. An actually really good Batman film that nobody talks about. Oh man, yeah. When my dad was talking about like what movies, what are some movies I should get on 4K, I said one of the ones I said was Batman and Robin. He's like, buy Batman and Robin, and I showed this like GIF of like Uma Thurman as Poison Ivy. I'm like, see, there's a reason to get it. Is the Lego Batman movie? This we bought at a Black Friday deal. I think it was like $5, and holy crap, is this a good movie? Elias and Hawk, you're right, he was. You're wrestling, Matt. This is so good, and we get a really good Batman in this. Will Arnett does an amazing job as Batman. Zach Galifianakis is really, really good in this. It is an incredible cast. It's really surprised the hell out of me. I thought it was just going to be kind of a cheap Lego, kind of a cash-in type of movie. Oh, but it's the best to me. Like it's the best. Like forget the Lego movie and Lego sequel. Lego Batman. It's the best Lego movie, bar none. Like for me, it really is, and it's actually a good Batman film. Obviously, there were movies we saw in theater that we wanted to recreate that experience at home, and with 4K, that's a lot of what you're doing. If you're gone to 4K, it's because you want to recreate that like theater experience in your house. And what better like modern day films to do that with than the John Wick films? We don't have part 3 yet, I'm sad to say, but we did grab the first 2 John Wick titles. It was hilarious. So there's a weight bag over there, like a cloth bag, and it was on the island, and my cat jumped up, and I saw her jump down, and I just saw the weight bag just like slide across the room. Mask of the Phantasm is definitely one to have on 4K. What an amazing film. Skip part. I like part 3. Actually, I did like it. We did see it. We saw that at the drive-in. We just don't own it yet. Nobody's another one that we really, really loved and enjoyed, and we want to own. And that is very John Wickish in the way that it's done. And I guess we looked at the DC before I go any further with the different stuff, because we're going to go into horror and action and all that as well. Let's look at the other company that does this stuff. Val Kilmer was amazing as Bruce Wayne. Did I go see? I did see Mask of the Phantasm in theater. It didn't get promoted much. I almost missed it. It came at it was a Millbrook, because the cinema that showed up. It's a theater in. Okay, one thing I'm going to say right now. These are utterly fantastic, but some of the Marvel releases on 4K, and like back me up here, guys, if you know exactly what I'm talking about, if you know what I'm going to say, the sound is kind of low. Like they're not like, I find that the DC 4Ks, like especially well, at least with the early Marvel releases, at least, I found that the sound wasn't as booming as it should have been. Like it wasn't as good of a sound mix on some of these. But maybe that's just me. Let me know if you had the same type of feeling with it. So this, of course, Endgame. Who's not going to own Endgame, right? Come on, it's a fantastic movie. I saw this in like theater twice. I saw it once with my dad. So Dad, if you're there, you know this one. It is kind of like a thing with some of the releases. I reviewed. Please watch it. I did a Sony review for like 3 Sony films. So, like, spoiler alert, my favorite of the 3 was a movie called Love Again, which I didn't know anything about. I'm actually want to talk about it. So Charles Martinet, who's the voice of many characters, including Mario and Luigi, and of course Wario, is retiring and is becoming Mario ambassador. I want to talk about that, but I'm going to get Malcolm in because I'm not going to lie. I've got some ranting to do about that, because we're getting a new Mario for the new game, and I have a bad feeling about it. But yeah, so they're fantastic. Like the picture on these are utterly fantastic. Great picture. But I don't have to go through all these really, to go in deeply with those because guys know this stuff. Some ones that are slightly different. I'll put these aside and do these last. And I have a lot here. I'm probably going to you're going to see some more come through. So Black Panther, which I think that had a better sound than the other. Thor Ragnarok. Love this movie. The sound was definitely on this one. I remember the sound. Live. It can only happen live. Guardians of the Galaxy Volume 2. Got Volume 1 here somewhere too, so I'm sure we're probably going to come across that as we go through. And of course, Spider-Man, Homecoming. And because we're super edgy, we got Deadpool and Deadpool 2. I love these movies. I'm a massive fan. That's the same reason like She-Hulk. I love the self-referential meta like commentary films. And Deadpool is so good at this. Like I did like the She-Hulk series, but I think Deadpool, it's Ryan Reynolds, right? So it's kind of my favorite. We have the first Venom film, which kind of enjoyed, like way more than I thought I was going to actually. Into the Spider-Verse. We saw this in theater, and the second that this came out, we bought it right away. I want to get the second one. I think I'm getting a review copy from Sony, but I think it's only Blu-ray. So if that's the case, I'm still gonna be buying the sequel because I want 4K edition of it. Okay, don't laugh, all right? But I was excited to get these. So this is Punisher and Punisher Warzone. Rest in peace, Ray Stevens. It was weird the way that they did this. And I'll show you what I mean. So when they did Punisher, this is Punisher right here, the one with Thomas Jane. They did a 4K and a Blu-ray. But here's the thing. So the 4K is a 4K of the Thomas Jane Punisher film. The Blu-ray that is included is a double feature Blu-ray that has the Punisher and Punisher Warzone on it. So if you didn't know that, and maybe you just want to Punisher Warzone on Blu-ray, that's how they did it. I was surprised hell out of me. And of course, Warzone, where they did it right, actually. They did the 4K and the Blu-ray of Punisher Warzone, as as they should. Did hear about John Wick's chapters 1 and 4 on Blu-ray and DVD and stun you? I think I did. But it's always tell me because there's so much that I don't hear out. Gotta move this here so it doesn't fall down. And of course, I love Logan. I just really, really think this is a masterpiece of a film. And thanks to a viewer on here, because I made the mistake of buying the wrong version of Logan. I didn't get the one that had like the one with the black and white Logan Noir. But I had a viewer actually send me the right version of the film. So I actually now do have Logan and Logan Noir, the black and white version, which is really freaking good, by the way. I'm the opposite. I'm like one of the only people Swift that wants to keep Venom and like Spider. Like if you're not going to do it initially, keep them apart. Probably because I don't want like Venom. I would say I don't want Venom watered down by Spider-Man, but maybe that is it. Maybe I just want Venom to do like more. Maybe if they get a new Spider-Man eventually, like Tom Holland's, he's going to leave soon. He's super stressed, right? Here's something that was sent to me by a viewer and that I was supremely excited about. I'm not going to lie to you. I grew up in the 80s when action movies were king. Action movies and horror films are what you saw over and over again. So I want to have that experience in my living room is a fantastically wonderful thing. And this is First Blood, which I adore. Rambo First Blood 2, which by the way, I didn't like the first time I saw this one. Like I like the action in it, but I was kind of upset that because the first one, it's it's drama. This one, it's action on steroids. It was. That's the thing. I think Venom's a fun creature flick on its own. Black and white version of John, that would be really good. See, Maddie, the black and white version of Johnny Mnemonic is not something that I knew I wanted, but now I want it. And of course, Rambo 3, which is okay. You got to like tempt your expectations because Rambo 2 is so good. And this is a horror film. This is not even an action film. This is a slasher movie. It is a blood fest. Until Terrifier came about. This was your bloody movie if you wanted to see one. First Blood. It is like a heavily dramatic film. It's based on a novel, and like originally, you're gonna know this. You know this already, Swift, but I'll say it for the people that may not. He unalives himself. That obviously that didn't happen in there. They would have made like a whole bunch of other films, but I think in the book and the original like screenplay, he doesn't make it. Because it's like a serious look at PTSD. Let's go through these fairly quickly. These next series, because I know everybody owns these. That's got a 4K, and if you don't, you know exactly what I'm talking about. So Star Wars New Hope, of course I do. Look at me. Am I not the geekiest person you've ever seen? I absolutely adore the Star Wars films, and there's some great stuff here on the Blu-ray. There is Empire Strikes Back, which is my favorite, and my better half's favorite is Return of the Jedi, because it's got a happy ending, right? And she likes Ewoks too. So we got Return of the Jedi right here. We also have The Last Jedi. Ooh, it's a little bit controversial there, right? And we didn't see this, so we bought it, by the way. I don't mind it. Like, looking back on it, there's some things I wouldn't have done, like personally, but I understand what Rian Johnson was going for. This is probably my favorite of the new ones, is Rogue One. I really like this, although it's super depressing when you really think about it. And here's one super hot take for this video. I'm saying it. I'm going on that hill. I liked Solo. I really did like Solo. And I didn't see the complaints. But it was just a fun little like standalone film. Like, did we need to know like the reason behind why his name is Solo, or why he's got the the thing on the Millennium Falcon? Maybe not. Oh yeah. It's unless you're at like the Kieran Gillen Charles Soule comic books. Rogue One is your introduction to a badass like Vader. Yeah, if you're reading the comic books, though, Vader Down, stuff like that, just incredible stuff. I want to leave some of the horror stuff to last. So, just to give you an idea, because I want you guys to have like a good like idea on like the stuff that I like, and some of the different stuff that's there, then why I got them too. And like, I did overall like the Star Wars ones, I gotta say. Where the prequels, I don't have them. Are they out? They're out, right? Yeah, I just don't see. There's a box set of the prequels, and we were gonna buy it, and because I don't mind the prequels, like they're not my Star Wars, they're my kids' Star Wars. So like my oldest daughter, she grew up with that, right? Those were her Star Wars films. Like the original trilogy is mine, but every generation, right, has their own. Okay, Ghostbusters right here again, another one I saw in theater. I was watching what was it? Oh, Diagnosis of Murder the other night, and it was one of the the TV movies they did before the series came out. It was on DVD. Yeah, that's the thing. But I have them on DVD too, actually. And William Atherton was in it. And the second William Afton came on the screen, I'm like, so he's the guy in Ghostbusters that you guys probably know this anyway. But the tries to shut them down basically. And there's like the videos online saying like he's actually a good guy because he's not wrong in what he says. But every time you see it in a movie, every time you see William Atherton in a movie, you're like, that's the bad guy. You know what I mean? There's certain actors when the second you come on the screen, it's like if it's a Law and Order or a CSI episode or a murder mystery show, if it's Matlock or Diagnosis Murder or any of those old shows, the second you come on the screen, you're like, that's the bad guy. That's going to be the bad guy at the end of this episode. Guess what? Yeah, he was. Spoiler alert for a Diagnosis Murder episode from years ago. Who Framed Roger Rabbit? Again, I saw this in theater. I remember like the cartoon that played before it as well. Had to have that. He was like, but he plays that role so well. And in real life, he's probably like the sweetest guy in the world, right? That's always the way it happens. Like you get the guys that played like the nastiest people, guys like Jeff Kober, right? Always play bad guys. But in real life, they're like the super nice guys. Only at the first season. I know that it's been canceled. I don't know if all of it's come out on 4K, but I really, really enjoyed the first season of Westworld. I've heard that it goes downhill. I haven't watched anything past the first season, just to let you know. But I really want to complete at least what's available on 4K because it is a beautiful looking one, and it has one of the best like pilots. I just love the pilot. Like Westworld, Shield just got 2 shows that have amazing pilots. So Kubrick sends me the coolest stuff, by the way. Big shout out to Kubrick because I get like multiple emails from Kubrick all the time letting me know like if there's sales going on, if there's things that are going on like in the movie world, if Arrow's releasing something. Amazing guy, and nothing but love for him. So anytime that he comes in here, just big shout out to him for that. I love this movie too. A lot of people didn't like this movie. If you're a horror fan, I'll tell you right now. So there's a scene, and it's the one scene that's done practical in this movie. There's a lot of CGI in this movie, right? A lot of good CGI, but a lot of CGI. But the Shining scene, which is for the movie, was in the book, by the way. The Shining scene, insanely good. Oh my God. There's a sequence in this movie because in Ready Player One, they got all these actual they got these different different worlds. But when they do the Shining scene was done practically. It is for a Kubrick fan, for a fan of The Shining. This is just you got to have it. You got to have it in your collection, if only for that. If only for the Shining scene. It really is that good. Here's one that this is a good release, but the previous one, which I think I've got in my collection, really isn't. But this is okay. So this is Godzilla King of the Monsters. I actually really like this movie. Yeah, I like it. I don't love it, but the Shining scene, right, was I think was the scene that made me realize I have to keep it in my collection, right? Because that scene is what I mean. That scene is so good. And there's some sequences, we got like Chucky and all the type of thing. Well, as a horror fan, I geeked out, but the Shining sequence just blew my mind. So I did not know the Toxic Avenger collection, actually. I think I should have, though. Yes, wait a minute. I did because I was upset that they didn't put Toxic Crusaders in there. I don't think Toxic Crusaders in there, which I want. But yeah, no, it's okay. Not my favorite, as it comes to transfers and stuff. However, one of the early transfers on Blu-ray, you guys are gonna know this, was of a film that I absolutely adore, and the transfer was crap. It was really crap, and I didn't get a good transfer afterwards. And that is this one right here, Fifth Element. Skull Island's really cool. I actually really like Skull Island. That's the one. Now, King of the Monsters is before. That's pre. This is not the one with Kong in it. This is the one with King Ghidorah and like Mothra. Like the Kong one will come afterwards, like Godzilla versus Kong. But Fifth Element had a really, really bad like Blu-ray edition. So if you've got it, I had it for years. This, my friends, is going to be a revelation because I saw this in theater and it looked really good, and then I saw it on Blu-ray and it really, really didn't. Blade Runner 2049. We saw this one in theater. We loved the movie, but it's 164 freaking minutes long. I kind of wish we hadn't seen it in theater because after a while it was super uncomfortable. Like we were sitting, we were adjusting, we're just trying to move. I'm a guy, I'm sitting down for 164 minutes. But so glad to have this because I do love the movie. I really do. I think for some people, like this is the one like some people like Drive is the one like won them over with Ryan Gosling, right? For me, like Drive is one like, oh yeah. Like I like Gosling anyway, because like I'm Canadian, he's Canadian. We got the Canadian thing going on, the Canadian connection, right? But for some people, this was the movie where they really understood Gosling. Like, oh, he's a force. He's really a force. And fantastic film. Really, really glad I have that one. My better half, one of her favorite movies, Labyrinth. Young Hercules, exactly, right? That's where Canadian people, I'm not sure if you're Canadian or not, but if you're Canadian or if you're like just like a Hercules fan, it really is a good Blade Runner, man. It really does a good job. Labyrinth, again, I adore this film. We're going to get to it. Are you ready? Yep. Let's talk this film. I don't know who did the transfer for this movie. And I don't know what they were thinking. But they DNR'd the crap out of this film. So for those that are watching this, and like one of the things I learned when I was working in as a manager is not to use like acronyms and assume people know them. Digital noise reduction. So what that means is the kind of like these smooth out, like say you're carpenter, you're sanding like something. So they smooth out, stuff. They smooth the imperfection. But if they digitally noise reduce things too much, it makes the movie have a fake waxy type of look. So what's often referred to as the soap opera effect, because some soap operas, the way they were shot, made them look unreal and unrealistic. This is one of the great films of all time. This is one of the amazing, fantastic, wonderful action films. It should have an amazing limited edition collector's release with a hard box and a whole bunch of features and a poster and lobby cards and all that type of stuff. Instead, we got this. And this, by the way, I bought for $5. I got ripped off. They should have been paying me. That should have been minus $5. I should have got $5 for putting that movie into my collection. There we go. And sometimes it's not that the movie's bad. Sometimes like the movie looks bad. Sometimes it's like sanding the neck of the guitar when you can ruin the sound. Exactly. I would say that the Super Bit DVD, because I've seen that is better than the 4K, but it definitely is an improvement over the Blu-ray. That's 100% true. The 4K release of The Hitcher, man, Second Sight always good hands with second sight. So this, I fell asleep. I'm not, no lie. Like, I literally fell asleep. We about 10 minutes into the movie. There's like the young lady that's in it, the girl, little girl. I think she's doing something now. I think she's growing up now, but she's doing something now. It's like a bigger. Um, 'Cause I think she was Dora. Was she Dora? Was this girl Dora? In like in the Dora the Explorer movie? Is that her? Maybe. It's been a while. Anyway, so I saw the opening, kind of like the junkyard type scene, and then I woke up when when they're doing that massive fight on whatever that thing in the sky is. And it's kind of like tipping a bit, and they're kind of running. So yeah, I really didn't see much of that. You know, it did surprise me when they got a lot of hate that I actually really liked. You got like many reviews here, right? It's not bad, right? It's this one right here. Why the hell did we not get a sequel to this film? One, she was really good in the role. I'm going to say it. Angelina Jolie looked wonderful in the costume, but I prefer her. I just like the action aspect of it, and I think that they were just getting to that action aspect when the movie ended. But yeah, it was a setup for like the go like truly fell asleep during Batman vs Superman. I didn't do that, but actually around the second or third time I watched it, I think it did. But it's a long movie too, and it's not like again, like I always say, it's not a me thing. Also, if you're going to come Batman vs Superman, you should have a bit more excitement than that. From a viewer, Goodfellas. Again, I just love this movie. And if you've never seen Goodfellas, I definitely do recommend that you check it out. Hacksaw Ridge, which is one of those, and I'm going to be 1,000,000% honest. We bought this because it was super cheap. That's why. So it is a very quotable film. It's like it is one of the most quotable films. And this is the one thing to Garfield, right? Yeah. So okay. So I just had her. I've seen a few like these war movies recently. Actually, I like that. I like the more than I thought I was going to. I actually really like this. I know a lot of people hate on this movie. I don't think they should. The mustache was ridiculously weird. You're funny. Well, after you're saying that, I'm not going to take any rides with you in future Kubrick. But I really dug this, and I like the sequel too. I like the Death on the Nile. I like that a lot. But we don't have Death on the Nile, but we will be buying it. And the new like Hercule Pro is like it's a horror film, like exactly what's going on there. Deepwater Horizon. Just because I like a lot of Peter Berg stuff, it's action filled. It looks good. For me, it's a quick fun time, and it's usually like inexpensive, like $10 usually, stuff like that. You have here Red Heat, another one that another movie that I just really liked, sent to me by a viewer. Ustinov was my pro, when I was growing up, right? Obviously, Matt, AJ, right? So he did like the ones on TV. Murder in the Sun was my favorite, and that was like a TV movie. I'm pretty sure it's a TV movie, but I just love Murder Under the Sun. Right, and we got both Pacific Rim. This for the original is the original is the better one, but we got them both on 4K, and second one's okay. It's not great. It's like nothing to write home about, but it was really inexpensive to get. I don't know. I don't think it's a remake. If it is, I'm unaware it's a remake. That's the thing, Kubrick. There you go. That's the truth. We got Planet Earth 2. That's not here. I don't know where we got put now, but this is Earth One Amazing Day. So it's kind of like a different cut of like Planet Earth, like different like footage in that, and it's narrated by Robert Redford as opposed to like Attenborough, and it's actually really good. We got this at Walmart for actually fairly inexpensive, and I enjoyed the hell out of it. I was. I love this movie. I do. I say I go. No, sometimes it's just a cheesy, weird little films I like. Yeah, Ron Reynolds is the voice of Pikachu, and it's based on Detective Pikachu. There is no Walmarts in Morocco. There's none of that type of store. We have like a lot of malls, but they're like, and they're usually massive, right? But we don't have like things where it comes to like we'll have like a Marjan or a Carrefour, like those are the grocery stores, right, in the malls. But there's won't be physical media usually in there. There'll be a lot of like clothing places, a lot of kind of like the high end stuff. It's just tourists. It's tourists, right? Tourists come here. They don't come here to buy like they're not like me, right? They don't come here and buy like Blu-rays and DVDs and like stuff like that. But they do come here and pick up like clothes and perfume and like all that type of stuff. So sadly, there is no like Walmart in Morocco, but I don't think there would be. We do have like a lot of the North American like food places, uh, but no, none of the mall type things. I think it's like a North America. That's like a North American thing. Oh yeah, like the same as like if you go, when you go to Walmart, you got like your grocery section, but like we have like there's grocery stores on their own. It's like they're massive, but the same as like have grocery stores in the malls too, like we do back in Canada. Rampage. I thought this was gonna be crap. I really did. I just bought it because it was cheap. Yeah, actually, the recently Tim Hortons opened up in Casablanca. I haven't been to it yet, but we just recently got Tim Hortons here. We Starbucks are all over the place. Like Starbucks is just one of those things that you can't get rid of. But Tim Hortons just recently came here. But actually, it was okay. It was good. It was a fun watch. Same with Jumanji. Again, I enjoyed Jumanji. Um, I watched the second one, but I don't remember it at all. Bumblebee, I really like. This is probably my favorite Transformers movie. It's the one that I kind of dug the most. I'm not sure what anybody's thoughts are. What's your favorite Transformers movie? If you're watching this later on, if you're watching this now, feel free to say. But Bumblebee is my favorite. Toy Story 4, because I like Toy Story movies. I did not know that. I kind of want to look that up because that blows my mind, actually. I saw Pippi Langkowski when I was a kid, right? I was not a kid. I was like, 1988. I was like 16 years old. So I was still a kid. American Made. I still haven't watched this. And is this good? Like we bought this for like $10. It was like really cheap, and we were gonna watch it that night. But I think we had guests, and we said, okay, we'll watch it later on, and we just never got around to it. So eventually, we'll watch it. I got sent this one by a viewer, and this was really like I got really excited because I used to watch this every year, like at Christmas time, and It's a Wonderful Life. So it's the 4K remastered black and white version. And what's really cool that I would have hated. I mean, we only live once, like Kubrick, and look how like he's not young. Um, do I think he's a bit on the crazy side? Enjoyed American Made. I gotta check it out. I hear it's really good, man. Um, um, but no, I mean, I wish I had that nerve. I don't. Back in like he's the guy. Remember when you're a kid? Like when I was a kid, for instance, I the craziest stuff I would do. I had no fear, zero fear. Tom Cruise still doesn't. Most of us we grow up to, and that we basically okay, no, then that whole morality comes in there. R.I.P. Terry Funk, as we said at the beginning of the video, there, man. It's it is sad to think, but what if he dies one day from? I kind of think that the way that he's going, he might kind of be okay with it. I don't know the animated series. I got like some of the animated series on VHS though. But again, this has the color version of It's a Wonderful Life, the Sacrilege version, right? The Turner Classic Movie, not Turner Classic Movie, the TBS version. I wish I had the nerve. I'm glad I don't, because I would get my butt killed. But that ain't me, man. As Johnny Cash sings, right? That ain't me, babe. No, 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 that ain't me. Top Gun, love the original film. Again, it's this, for a lot of people, it's nostalgia porn, like the sequel, but it's got a fantastic score. I just love actiony stuff. Speaking of just some action stuff, why didn't this get like more notice? Why didn't this get a freaking sequel? I love the hell out of this one. Ever see Salt with like Angelina Jolie? That's boring as hell. You just watch Finch and Curse films. Oh, man. I gotta be in the right. I've seen them both, like both seasons. I gotta be in the right mood to watch Curse films, because I know I'm gonna be depressed a bit. It's like watching certain episodes of Dark Side of the Ring, right? With the Vice show. You got to go in with the right mindset. You're like, oh man, because I've watched, and I do own like Twilight Zone here somewhere, but I will never rewatch that sequence. I just can't. Did you love Salt? I hated Salt, man. I'm not gonna lie to you. I was so bored. We went to see another movie, but it was sold out. So I went to see Salt instead. I'm like, well, excellent. Angelina Jolie, she's super sexy. It's an action movie. I'm all there, type of thing. And no, I did not enjoy myself. This I didn't enjoy myself with. This was a lot more action. This is way more action oriented. Charlize Theron is sexy as heck in this one. The cast is really, really good. It's just better directed as an action film. And we get some amazing actors in this. See, that's the one on. Let's get to some more of the horror and actiony stuff. We'll start off with Predator. And isn't that the case, man? Sometimes like you like a movie and like you find it, oh, damn, that person's crappy. But it can't, it doesn't normally hopefully change your love for the movie. But Predator, it's classic. Also picked up the anniversary, 40th anniversary edition of Alien as well. And this says like the 79 and 2003 cuts. That's actually pretty cool. Get into some of the horror stuff, the regular horror stuff that I got here. Let's see if there's anything else before I do. And there's a lot of this is going to be cheesy normal horror stuff. So there's Quiet Place, which I thought was a really good movie. I like the first one. I have seen the second one, but I don't own the second one. But I really like this. Just a fantastically wonderful film. And it's so tense. It is so freaking tense. One that I super adore too. And better if I watch this one. She doesn't normally watch like horror stuff, right? Like she'll watch some horror, but mostly the classics, Hammer, Universal, that type of stuff thing. But we both sat down and watched Mother together. Darren Aronofsky is one of these guys too. Like you will definitely it's like Gaspar Noé. Like it's going to challenge you with what he does. And Mother was definitely a challenge, but I really enjoyed this. Some people thought it was like kind of overblown or it was pretentious. I didn't think so. It made me think, and I like movies that make me think. I do think that the symbolism was super in your face, but that's okay. Mary Harmon's American Psycho. Uncut version. Again, I love this film. This is a funny film. Like it really is really funny. uh, I've had like debates with people about the ending of the film because I think the way that it's shot, people take it differently, and that's okay. But yeah, the first it was the first year I think satire exactly. That sequence with the card is just so good. You know, I don't know actually. If I hear anything on it, though, I'll let you know. I'll let you guys know. If I get any like press copies, I'll let you guys know. This first one was so good. There's a sequence in this, and it's the scene when they're in the garage. You know, the oh, man, that messed me up. That was so creepy. You never read the book. It's actually yeah. Well, if you like the movie, I think you should like the book. It's the book's a bit more intense. All right, so I do have the Shout Factory edition. You guys all know that, but when the initial one came out, and they said they were putting like Halloween on 4K, I picked it up. Now, some people found this one to be like the color timing a bit off, a bit darker, and even as darker as this was, because this is like a bit of a darker like version of Halloween. I think it was a closer, like not as close as Shout Factory got to it when they did theirs. Chef Factory just did an amazing transfer. But this is closer to theater than any other version that we've gotten at that point. But it is super dark. Don't judge me with these next ones. That documentary Alejandro Jodorowsky's doing is amazing. Purge. I got to get the first Purge. That's the one I got to get. So the Purge Anarchy, and the Purge Election Year. So it starts out as this kind of like horror film, like this, home invasion type horror film, but a cheesy kind of like not taking stuff too seriously home invasion film. And then it goes like straight into like full on action movies, like Purge Anarchy, not a horror film. Purge Election Year, definitely not a horror film. Action film, yes. We had a character here that like he's literally playing like pretty much the Punisher. He's pretty much the Punisher, and each of them come with both the 4K and the Blu-ray as well. I got that one for like under $20 too, so that's actually a good price. I don't know how I feel about that epilogue. I mean, it's definitely better than what they did with the American Psycho 2, right? Which never was meant to be American Psycho 2. They just like tacked that stuff on at the end. Put an opening on there. Put some Patrick Bateman stuff in there. It was never meant to be American Psycho. So this I actually like transferring this one. Actually, this is Pet Sematary. Love this movie. It makes me think of my late aunt, Marion. Actually, she was an incredible woman, and a great like kind of force in my life in a very positive way. She passed away from cancer when I was still in college, but she was actually pregnant with her second child, and she rented Pet Cemetery, not knowing anything about it. And yet she knew she was having a little boy. So Pet Cemetery, not the best choice for a pregnant woman. I was there when she rented it. Christine, I have this in so many editions. I think I got the Twilight Time Song edition. I got a really nice edition of this one, but this is looks so good. So it's Sony. Like, isn't Sony really good when it comes to transfers? And I recently watched 3 Sony movies, and like the films themselves, some I like better than others. Like I'm a huge Saint Seiya fan, so Knights of Zodiac I went in with a bit of a bias, like of like not being quite sure if I was going to like super enjoy it. And I thought it was okay. It was definitely, it was a fun film. It was not a Marvel film or anything like that. But the audio and the picture was friggin' insanely great. I'm gonna leave this one to last because it's the very first I got. Ending of the book Clockwork Orange. That's probably what they did, actually. Van Helsing, don't judge, but my better half loves Hugh Jackman. And I used to make fun of her for this movie all the time. I would make so much fun of her for this movie. But you know what? I ended up enjoying it. I like it more now than when I saw it in theater. I'm not going to lie. I really enjoyed this too. I know that it didn't do well, and it was supposed to be the start of the Dark Universe, and they said, nope, this is not the start. Another movie's going to be the start. But I thought they did. I thought it was good. I thought it was fun. And I have the slipcover here somewhere. So just saying. I don't have it on this one right now. But yes, this is the original 25th anniversary 4K of Dracula. And the slipcover is put away. But I was one of those. Oh, no, I watched Zodiac like a long time ago. Oh, no, Knights of the Zodiac. It's a 2023 film. Which I won't be talking a lot about, like newer films in the near future because of the whole strike thing. I'm trying not to. But I wanted to leave this one till last. I'm not sure if we're going to get into the Blue Underground stuff like that tonight or the Shout Factory, because I kind of wanted to do that as its own type of thing. I wanted to come in and talk to you guys tonight and just have a bit of fun and enjoy this and have a conversation. So when we bought the Xbox, and this was, Xbox couldn't do Dolby like Vision or anything like that, like you can now with when you get like an actual player. But I will talk a little bit about that at the end. We were at Best Buy, and we hadn't seen this movie, and the Blu-ray was $2 more expensive than the 4K. So Hin said, "Well, this is the 4K edition, but it's got the Blu-ray included and a digital copy, so." The worst acting in Bram Stoker's Dracula for me, Kubrick, and I'm going to be honest, isn't Keanu Reeves. It's Anthony Hopkins. So a lot of people hate this movie. I got a love for it because it's our first 4K. And I remember watching it in 4K. Because here's the thing. The day after we bought the Xbox and brought it home, we thought, okay, down the road, we're going to buy a 4K TV, right? Because we got a 1080p TV. And that very night, 4K TVs went on sale. And my better half was already in bed. And I looked and I said, oh, there's some interesting sales there. So it's affordable for us. It wasn't the best 4K TV at the time. It was a good one, but it wasn't great. But it would be a starter. So I went to sleep. Hin was already asleep. And if Hin's already asleep and I'm going to watch something or listen to something before I go to sleep, I went over to we had 2 guest rooms in the house. So I went over to one of the guest rooms and said, okay, I'm not going to wake her up in the middle of the night. She's already asleep. I'm not going to go in, get in bed, wake her up. She was exhausted. So I just said, I'll fall asleep. And I was reading and I fell asleep. Didn't even get under the blankets, right? And I get tapped on my shoulder the next morning. Just tap on my shoulder. Tap, tap, tap. And Hin's sitting on the side of the bed. Because she doesn't mind waking me up. And she's like, did you know 4K TVs are on sale right now? And I'm like, I may have heard something about that. So she get up. So we got up and did some research, picked the best of the ones that we could afford at the time. And we bought The Mummy, speaking of Tom Cruise, Kubrick, on 4K the night before. This was a movie that we bought at Best Buy for $2 less than the Blu-ray then, and it included the Blu-ray and a digital copy. And I had fun with this. I really did. Is it perfect? No, but it's like not like it's not bad. It's not a bad movie. Um, like I've seen bad movies. I've seen things like when people like go and say, "Well, The Mummy's a bad movie." No, you haven't seen bad movies. Like I've seen Neil Breen. Like I know really bad. But yeah, I dug this. I dug the heck out of this. There's like some lifting from like oddly from American Wear from London aspects to this film. Like was really strange. I found the girl that played. I'm not gonna lie. I found the girl that, and this may have helped. I found the girl that played the mummy like super sexy. That was definitely a plus right there. And I like the Jekyll and Hyde aspect of it. Um, I enjoyed it. It was the first 4K I ever bought. Let's talk for a minute. When you're getting into 4K, if you've done, you got your 4K TV, you've got your player. You're one of the things you're going to look at right away, even if you got your TV and you're going towards getting your players. If you're a gamer, you're going to be asking yourself, like, well, maybe I can get a video game system that does 4K rather than it bombed big time at the box office. Like, Gear super big time. This is right. But the PlayStation 5, the Xbox Series X, the Xbox One S or One X, which is an earlier version, they all play 4K. They all play 4K discs. That being said, ironically, Sony, who created this 4K and Dolby Vision and all that, their PlayStation 5 does not have Dolby Vision on it. It has Dolby Atmos, but it does not have Dolby Vision. So just know that you don't need Dolby Vision. I'll be honest with you. Like, it's every one of them has HDR. Usually HDR10, HDR10 plus. So you're going to be good when it comes to that either way. Dolby Vision is fantastic. It's like the colors pop. It's great. But the color gamut on 4K is just great anyway. It's one of the reasons that you get something like that. But for me, 4K, even more than the picture's great. There's bad ones like Terminator 2, right? But it's a sound too. It's a sound quality. Because when you go to a movie in the theater, like half that experience is the sound. Yep, Mandalorian seasons 1 and 2, WandaVision, and Loki are all coming out on 4K with steelbooks actually. And another thing that I didn't know at the time, and actually was important. Luckily, I had a game system, so it had a HDMI cable with it. But it's an HDMI 2.1, which is what you want to have. A 2.1 or for the early stuff, it's a 2.0A, right? So, which is literally just like a 2.1. But here's the thing. Not every 4K TV has the right ports. As you know, the HDMI 2.1 port. And if they do, a lot of 4K TVs don't have more than one 4K port. Especially those steelbooks look really good. I'm probably going to buy them now. So know when you're setting it up for the first time, check to see which one of the ports on your TV, because sometimes there's a dedicated 4K port on the back of your TV set, an HDMI port. They may not all be 2.1 compatible. Just a little thing there, a little bit of info for people that are going this for the first time. If you can get yourself a dedicated player, I think that it works better than in the long run than having like a video game system to watch them on, because your video game system, you're still playing video games and stuff like that. And same with the PlayStation 3, same with the PlayStation 2. The more movies you watch on it, worry about it slowly, kind of maybe slowing down the life cycle of it, right? But I say like it's perfectly fine to start with a game system, or for nowadays, I think you can get like 4K players for just as cheap. But I wanted to do just a little talk about like that aspect of it. I want to that's kind of dry, so I don't want to like really get into that too much. If you had any questions or anything like that, feel free. I'll answer to the best of my ability and best of my knowledge. But this is more to do like a fun, like dive into some of my 4K films. Now, this is just my 4K regular films. This is not going into my 4K Blue Underground, or my Scream Factory, or my Arrow video, because I do want to make that its own separate video and talk about 4K in the boutique world, because I think that does deserve its own video. Right now, actually, a good question. Actually, I like heat issues. I had to go to like a dermatologist and everything. It's not too bad here right now. It is 27 degrees but it's 4:30 in the morning. It speaks for a high today, well, because it's literally tomorrow, right? Of 43 for today, 43 for Friday, 42 for Saturday. But then it's going to be dry, kind of dipping down into the like 37 and then like 35. And next Saturday, it's saying it's going to be like 29 degrees, which is great. Yep, Celsius. So think of it as like 100 and something, like over your way. Well, I guess it's like 39. I think it's 100 and something over like in Fahrenheit. Because you do Fahrenheit in the United States, right? But I had friends like over in the US that I was surprised because like we did like the metric system, and like my grandparents didn't use metric system a lot. I have that actually. I got the Passage Red Green collection, but so I'd be doing like metric, and my grandparents like we're stuck with like the old system, right? Like I was like in meters and they were like in miles type of thing. And so like one of like my phrases, like I grew up like with my grandparents, are amazing people, but there's like age disconnect, and they were like, and so it's like I was in meters, they were in miles, and that's the phrase that I use. Feel free to use it. It just means like a bit of a disconnect. With that being said, we've gone like an hour and 18 minutes. I hope that you won. It's a dry, no humidity, because we're not near the ocean, right? The ocean, Essaouira's got a bit more humidity, which is near the ocean. But you trust me, it wouldn't bother you there because it doesn't bother me, and I get really bothered by humidity. But it's very much more of a dry heat. Like you don't go in the day, like rookie mistake, Cupid going in the daytime, in the daytime, because basically what happens is like ever open an oven, like when it's hot and you're like, and that like heat kind of hits you, like it can get hot like that here, right? So and you're going walking outside, you go like because obviously this is air conditioned, so for me, I don't even feel the heat right now, but if I go outside, like it'll hit me, and it'll be like just opening up an oven door, like when you're cooking. And with all that being said, please like, share, and subscribe. If you want a super sticker, super chat, or donate to the channel, I appreciate it. Nobody has to. But no, I'm not gone yet. So don't say bye yet. Do I take siestas there like in Spain? I actually went to Spain recently. And I love Spain. We want to take a trip to Spain, like fly out there. I'm not sure if we're going to get there before I go back to Canada, but I want to go like Spain. Like it's cheap to go to like to Paris too. It's like really cheap. So, because it's close by, right? So we'll eventually go out to go to there as well. But yesterday, like I think some of her cousins were in. from France actually, and they had a bit of like had a bit of a feast, a siesta, I guess you want to call it. Hey there, Reagan. Welcome, man. You came in right at the end, but I'm glad you came in. 666 right now. But no, it's good. We went to Spain. We just spent a night in Spain, and I want to go back. I really want to go back, actually. Hopefully, one of these days. Hopefully, sometime in the near future. Well, not in the near future, but sometime we'll be opening up a PS5, something like that. That'll be fun. Something I'm hoping to do before I go to Canada. Anywho, thank you so much. If you haven't checked out my Sony review that I did yesterday, it's only like around 8 minutes long, and it's not something that that I normally get to do, but they reached out to me and they sent me some stuff, and I'm super appreciative of it. So if you could watch the video, I'd really appreciate it. Actually, watch it, share it, like it. Trust me, they will be looking. But yeah, I actually got to watch some movies. And I got to watch a movie called Love Again with Priyanka Chopra, and I didn't think I was going to like it as much as I did. And it's a remake of a 2016 German film. I was unaware of that. Now I want to search out the German film. Anyway, check out the video. Have a wonderful night. It is late here, and I apologize. I think I'm rambling at this point, but thank you for joining me in this 4K journey. Hopefully enjoyed it. Dad, you probably didn't see this live. Hopefully you're watching this later on. And I'll see you guys soon, right here in the Call to Cinema.